Okay, art historians, for some reason, my recordings just for this particular PowerPoint just keep getting cut off. So we're going to finish up expansion of Indian art with picking up where we were leaving off with Petra, which we talked about is in Jordan and is a good combination of, so basically we can see Hellenistic Greek in this area, and this is kind of proof that Alexander the Great and his influence was moving eastward to develop into like what we see here. So they basically took what they had in the area and turned it into this little Hellenistic Greek area. And one thing we can also see is they were taking influences from the East as well, because we've got this big like audience hall that almost looks like it is Persian in influence. So the last thing that we're going to look at, kind of continuing on with this, is in the Bamiyan Buddhas. All right, and the Bamiyan Buddhas are a really, really good example of how East is going to meet West. So along the Silk Road, which basically stretched from Europe all the way to China, we're going to see moving westward. We're going to see the ideas of Buddhism move westward. And then we're also going to see that Greek influence under Alexander the Great moved east and clash together. All right, so we can really see this in what's called the Bamiyan Buddhas, which are very Gandaharan. It's kind of in that region of Afghanistan where these two worlds combined. So at one time, these were the largest Buddhist statues in the world. And you can see that they are standing up the way that we saw with that other Buddha. We can see that they've got the toga over both shoulders. It's kind of got that Phidias look to it, that Greek influence, that wet drapery look. The feet were meant to be circumambulated and walked around in these caves in Afghanistan. So we can definitely see in the hair that he had and these togas that they're wearing that this is East meets West, all right? And so the reason that I put Petra in this section is because it does show the westward movement of this particular style. And here we're going to see the East run into the West. So what we know is these would have appeared like at one time to have been a little bit more elaborate. So kind of like you would have seen in the Roman Empire and the Greek Empire at this time under these, really strong rulers, that it would have had gems and different gold around it, even though this was definitely him after he reached enlightenment. So this is the area we are talking about of Bamiyan in Afghanistan. So you can see India's right here. Buddhism would have moved through this, heading up to the Silk Road, which would have run across here. And then Alexander the Great's empire would have moved across Arabia down here, across Persia, and into Afghanistan as it made its way to India. So this is what the Bamiyan Buddhas would have looked like. And I say would have because they're actually no longer there. Because as you can see here to the left, there is just an open space left in these cliffs where these beautiful statues used to be. And that is because they were victims of what we call iconoclasm. So you can see here the two statues in the Bamiyan area where they would have been, and the rock cut areas here where the statues would have been standing. So in 2001, the Taliban in this area, on a mission to kind of destroy anything that was not fundamentalist Islamic, went through and started destroying in acts of iconoclasm anything that represented what they considered pagan faiths. And Islam does not allow the showing of figural art. We kind of already talked about that in Christian art, that Jewish art and Islamic art follow that second commandment very strongly, but Christian art does not, because it developed in Rome and used that to kind of hide in plain sight. So Buddhism, and actually the statues here, were in conflict with these extremist beliefs, because not even a remote majority, not even barely a minority of people of the Islamic faith believe that this needs to happen. They respect other cultures and also their, images and things like that. They just don't show it in their own. But these radical fundamentalists who followed the letter of the law and use religion as excuse to act badly went and destroyed these statues as a way to kind of show their destruction of any other faiths. This is kind of show like this is not uncommon that ISIS is doing this recently and was trying to do it with the white ziggurat in Iraq and also with the lamissus in the Mesopotamian area. So there's a big effort to try to rescue these works of art and get them out of areas where they might be destroyed.